Welcome to class, everyone. Today we're going to do an art analysis of the picture of the embarkation of the Pilgrims from Delfhaven in Holland. This was painted by Robert W. Weir in 1836. Robert W. Weir's painting of pilgrims leaving Holland is located in the Capitol Rotunda in Washington, D.C. It was commissioned by Congress in 1836 to commemorate the migration of the Pilgrims to America. So in 1620, the Pilgrims felt an urge to establish a colony in America that would operate freely under the Bible and under God's authority. Among other things, their most important goal was to advance the gospel in their colony. The importance of this is showed in a quote on page 25 of Plymouth Plantation. Lastly, and which was not least, a great hope and inward zeal they had of laying some good foundation, or at least to make some way thereunto, for the propagating and advancing the gospel of the kingdom of Christ in those remote parts of the world. Ye, though they should be but even as stepping stones unto others for the performing of so great a work. So today we're going to answer some questions about the painting. The first being, of which boat are the pilgrims traveling? So from the painting we can see that it inscripted on the stair is Speedwell, 1620. So we can know that they were on the Speedwell and they were traveling to America in 1620. The second question we would like to examine is, are there clues in the painting that enable you to determine where they are at the time? And yes, there are. If you look at the painting, there's some buildings in the right-hand corner. And you can see that they have some points, and they have large windows. And this was actually very similar to the Dutch architecture at that time, so you can know that they were in Holland. They were leaving Holland. The next question we would like to examine, what tools are on the foreground and why are they placed there? So the tools on the foreground are armor, such as a helmet, chest plate, and gun. I think this shows the Pilgrims were willing to put God above their lives in ways of their own protection. Instead of being worried about how many weapons they put on the boat, they submitted to God as their ultimate protector. Yes, they wanted to be prepared, but they knew that no matter how much they could prepare, God was their ultimate sustainer. The Pilgrims were not afraid to die as vessels of God's grace and sovereignty. The next question we should examine is, what is the main man in the center of the painting holding, and why is this significant? So if you see, this is the main man in the painting, and he is holding the Bible. The man, their pastor, John Robinson, in the center of the painting is holding the Bible. This shows their submission to the Lord. They could have read any other book, made any other speech, or simply just ignored any speech or telling altogether. But they did not, and they purposely did not. They purposely submitted to God with their trip, no matter what was to happen. This is also significant because especially in that day, sailing was dangerous and unexpected. For the Pilgrims to pray and read the Bible before their trip showed their reverence and dedication to the Lord as their Savior and protector. What is happening in the scene? Well, in this scene, John Robinson, the preacher in Holland, and other members of the Speedwell gathered together in prayer. In this, there's also a great quote about this in the book of Plymouth Plantation on page 48. It says, "Yet comfortable and sweet it was to see such lively and true expressions of dear and unfeigned love. But the tide which stays for no man, calling them away, that they were thus loath to depart, their reverend pastor falling down on his knees, and they all with him, with watery cheeks, commanded them with most fervent prayer to the Lord in his blessing. So it's a really cool picture of how the pilgrims were just praying that no, it wouldn't be to their own glory, but it would be to God's glory. And that's a very important lesson for us to know today. Also, we would like to examine if there are any figures in the painting that we can identify. So in this painting, John Robinson, the minister in Holland who had to stay behind and actually did not go on the trip, is holding the Bible. The young man in the brightly colored clothes right here is most likely Miles Standish. He was the military leader, and from this painting, he's the only man with a weapon or armor that you can see. The two men to the right of Robinson are most likely William Brewster, who went on the voyages as the Pilgrim's pastor, and also Edward Winslow, who was a representative of the separatists. So, in conclusion, this painting is a masterpiece, depicting the thoughts and feelings of the Pilgrims as they left Holland and journeyed to America. I would encourage you to research the Pilgrims in a deeper sense if you would like to see true Christianity lived out in everyday life. Thank you everyone for class. See you Monday. Do not forget your homework.